What is going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? We are going to do a first time watching for the film A Few Good Men. John, are you doing good?
I am doing great, and I am a man.
Aha, that is good to hear, my friend. Tom Cruise is in the SEO, and this has been one of the top movies on our list for a while, so we were like, now's the time to capitalize on it. But before we go into that, today's video is sponsored by nobody. Nobody is sponsoring this.
Why not?
Well, you want the truth, John? You guys would skip it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
That's right. That's all we know about this movie is that one
It's
quote.
that one
It's
quote,
the quote we've
yeah.
heard forever since we were little children. But yeah, guys, I love me some Aaron Sorkin, so I'm really late to checking this out. Leave a like on this video. That'd be very much appreciated. Also, as always, full-length reaction watch-along where you sync up with your own copy of A Few Good Men available for our Super Sexy Rejects over at our Patreon page. We cover several things exclusively over there with reaction highlights and watch-alongs included. Thank you to all who have joined thus far becoming Super Sexy Rejects. Let's swing into action and see all the crazy stunts he does in the court cases. Gary Marshall direct this? I forget who directed it.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. You just reminded me it was Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, this is his first movie.
Whoa.
Adapted from his play.
Okay.
I know some facts behind the scenes about it.
Oh,
Highway to the danger zone.
this is going to be fun. I was like, is this a hazing or is this like an actual assault? Jeez.
Why didn't you lock the door?
I mean, you know.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner.
I was thinking Rob Marshall, and I was like, no way, that can't be Rob Marshall.
That'd be
So is it
totally-
Gary Marshall?
That'd be such a weird choice. Gary Marshall's would be interesting as well, but I think Rob Reiner makes the most sense.
That makes more sense, especially for the time. God damn, the timing.
Well-oiled machine.
Precision. Is this how Marines battle?
Yes, it's just a battle of wits and postures.
Captain, I'd like to request that it be me who's the attorney. No, I'd like to request that it be I who am assigned. That's good. That's confidence inspiring.
Is she like a jag?
Entered the barracks room of a PFC William Santiago and assaulted him. Santiago died at the base hospital approximately an hour later.
What?
Jesus.
Dawson and Downey are both recruiting poster Marines. I was thinking it sounded an awful lot like a code red.
Code red.
I'd like to have them moved up to Washington and assigned counsel. In short, Captain, I'd like to suggest that I be the one who that it be me.
But you're a woman.
Woman practicing the law.
She's not cut out for litigation.
She's a hell of an investigator, Jerry. I
And
think we should give
internal
her an
affairs, sure,
opportunity.
she can crawl up a lawyer's ass with the best of them. But when it comes to trial work, I think
I know. All passion, no street smarts. Bring her back in.
Cool. We projected the thing about it being a woman.
So we are the
They don't-
sexists.
They don't even care.
Yeah, they're just talking about her abilities
This
and
movie's
her
ahead
track
of its
record.
time.
Well, from what I understand from your colleagues, you're much too valuable in your present assignment to be wasted on what I'm sure will boil down to a 5-minute plea bargain and a week's worth of paperwork.
But she's got passion.
I promise you, Division will assign the right man for the job.
All right, let's go. Let's get to.
Jack Reacher.
That's right. Military Mountain Jack Reacher.
I'm gonna charge him with possession and being under the influence while on duty. You plead guilty?
It was oregano, Dave. It was $10 worth of oregano.
Yeah, well, your client thought it was marijuana.
My client's a moron. That's not against the law. I'm gonna file against pretrial confinement. And you're gonna spend the next 3 months going blind on paperwork because a signalman second class bought and smoked a dime bag of oregano.
Even in the Navy, plays by his own rules.
Tom Cruise before he fixed the nose, eyebrows, and teeth.
That's right, man. The raw ball of clay.
A Marine corporal named Dawson illegally fires a round from his weapon over the fence line and into Cuban territory.
What's a fence line?
A big wall separating the good guys from the bad guys.
Teacher's pet.
Now do your Christopher Walken impression.
Go into Santiago's room, stuff a rag down his throat, and an hour later, Santiago's dead. Attending physician says the rag was treated with some kind of toxin.
Jesus.
Daniel Kaffee, I was told to meet with, Lieutenant Commander Galloway.
This guy's really gonna have to prove himself.
What a mess he is.
Seems like a slacker.
How long have you been in the Navy?
Going on 9 months now.
And how long have you been out of law school?
A little over a year.
Or about 10,000 apples.
When I petitioned division to have counsel assigned, I was hoping I would be taken seriously.
Commander, Lieutenant Kaffee is generally considered the best litigator in our office. He's successfully plea bargained 44 cases in 9 months.
Wow.
One of the people we'll be seeing down there is the barracks CO, Colonel Nathan Jessup. I assume you've heard of him.
Who hasn't?
No.
He's been in the papers lately. He's expected to be appointed Director of Operations at National Security Council.
These are the letters that Santiago wrote in his 8 months at Gitmo,
That's Guantanamo Bay.
I knew that one.
where he offered information about Corporal Dawson's fence line shooting in exchange for a transfer. This letter makes it look like your client had a motive to kill Santiago.
Gotcha. And Santiago is...
The victim.
Write that down.
Write that down.
I'll get them to drop the conspiracy and conduct unbecoming. 12 years.
You haven't talked to a witness or looked at a piece of paper.
Pretty impressive, huh? Commander, do you have some sort of jurisdiction here that I should know about?
I'm special counsel for internal affairs, so my jurisdiction's pretty much in your face.
Yeah.
Oh, she emphasized the diction part.
Slap him with it.
Sure.
You're dismissed.
I always forget that part.
He's too cool for school. Don't worry, he's going to learn to care by the end of this movie.
Yeah, follow every rule to the T.
I'm writing to inform you of my problems with my unit here in Cuba. I've fallen out on runs before for several reasons, such as feeling dizzy or nauseated. I've fallen back about 20 or 30 yards.
Woof.
My sergeant grabbed me and pushed me down the hill. Then I saw all black, and the last thing I remember is hitting the deck.
Whoa.
I'm willing to provide you with
information
information
about an
about
illegal fence line shooting that occurred the night of August the 2nd.
Oh, boy.
Who the f*** is PFC William T. Santiago?
God, I miss Jack Nicholson.
I think Santiago should be transferred off the base immediately.
Yes. Wait, I've got a better idea.
Toxins suck.
Maybe we have a responsibility as officers to train Santiago. Yes, I'm certain that I read that somewhere once. Why don't we meet at the O Club and have lunch, and we'll talk about the training of young William.
I'd be delighted to hear any suggestions that you might have, sir.
Dismissed.
I love you, sir.
There's just no one like Jack Nicholson.
I know. Just the scratch of his voice, that drawl.
We went to the academy together, but I've been promoted up through the chain with greater speed and success than you have. If that's a source of tension or embarrassment for you, I don't give a shit.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're fit to handle the defense.
It takes someone hours to discover I'm not fit to handle a defense.
You're just especially discerning.
You went to Harvard Law, then you joined the Navy. And now you're just treading water for the 3 years you've got to serve in the JAG Corps. Just kind of laying low till you can get out and get a real job. If that's the situation, that's fine. I won't tell anyone.
Hot shot.
But if this case is handled in the same fast food, slick-ass Persian bazaar manner,
Whoa.
then something's going to get missed. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I allowed Dawson and Downey to spend any more time in prison than absolutely necessary because their attorney had predetermined the path of least resistance.
Woof.
The doctor's report says that Santiago died of asphyxiation brought on by acute lactic acidosis, and that the nature of the acidosis strongly suggests poisoning. Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
So good at that.
I'm going to talk to your supervisor.
I was assigned by division, remember? Somebody over there thinks I'm a pretty good lawyer, so while I appreciate your interest and admire your enthusiasm, I think I can handle things myself.
Including the truth.
Just when you thought he had a lackadaisiac quality.
Yeah, that's right. There's duplicitous in there.
Sir, code red is a disciplinary engagement. Sir, a Marine falls out of line. It's up to the men in his unit to get him back on track.
Garden variety, typical. What's basic code red?
The men in his squad would give him a GI shower. Scrub brushes, Brillo pads, steel wool.
Wow.
Was the attack on Santiago code red?
Yes, sir.
Hey, the rag you stuffed in Santiago's mouth, was there poison on it?
No, sir. We were just gonna shave his head, sir.
Where'd you get the rag?
Train him to think of his unit before himself, to respect the code.
What's the code?
Unit, Corps, God, Country.
I beg your pardon?
Unit,
Core,
God, country.
linear priorities.
The platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, held a meeting with the men and specifically told them not to touch Santiago.
It's important information.
I'm going to Cuba with you tomorrow.
And the hits just keep on coming.
Wish Tom Cruise would go back to just being an actor.
I know.
I love what he does now, but
yeah, when it's like about the performance and it's
Yeah.
about him inhabiting a role,
he's playing a guy.
and he doesn't have all the action to. Not that he
Yeah.
rests on that, but yeah, and that's not the priority.
Jack Ross came to see me today. He offered me the 12 years. I mean, I guess I'll take it.
Oh no, he's starting to care more. Something doesn't feel right.
He said the platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, had a meeting with the men and specifically told them not to touch Santiago. I never mentioned Kendrick. I don't even know who he is.
Keep pulling the thread.
There's more than meets the eye.
Maybe instead of a running montage, we'll get a reading montage.
How the hell is your dad, Danny?
He passed away 7 years ago, sir.
Don't I feel like the f***ing asshole?
There's a lot of really great injection of humor in this.
Yeah, it's definitely got like a surprising wit about it. I mean, I guess you'd expect that from Sorkin, but at the same time, I thought this would be like heavy. What's his involvement?
I mean, it seems to me that Jack Nicholson definitely orchestrated this kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Especially with like the way he was talking in that first scene. Seemed a little unhinged.
Santiago is going to reveal the person's name in exchange for a transfer.
Yes.
Any details that I'm missing, you should feel free to speak up.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that.
Game of cat and mouse.
Game on.
We agreed that for his own safety, Santiago should be transferred off the base on the first available flight to the States, 0600 the next morning.
Oh, come on, dude.
Do Code Red still happen on this base, Colonel?
Joe, the colonel doesn't need to answer that.
Yes, he does.
No.
She outranks you, Danny.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you something.
So defeated.
Take caution in your tone, Commander. I'm a fair guy, but this heat is making me absolutely crazy.
He's getting defensive.
I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me, so don't think for 1 second that you can come down here, flash a badge, and make me nervous.
Holy hell.
Never get nervous.
You can have all the transfer orders that you want, but you have to ask me nicely.
Jesus Christ.
Power games with this guy.
Colonel Jessup, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer order. Sir.
No problem.
He loves to maintain that power.
Sound a little Heart of Darkness right down here in Cuba.
Colonel Markinson's gone UA. Unauthorized absence.
Did Lieutenant Kendrick order you guys to give Santiago a code red?
Yes, sir.
There it is.
Ooh.
Cutie pie shit's not gonna win you a place in my heart, Corporal. I get paid no matter how much time you spend in jail.
Yes, sir. I know you do, sir.
Oh, he's...
You, Harold!
Whoa.
Jesus.
And then he went into Dawson Downey's room and specifically told him to give him a code red.
That's not what Kendrick says.
Kendrick's lying.
You have proof?
I have the defendants.
And I have 23 Marines who aren't accused of murder and a lieutenant with 4 letters of commendation.
That is a upheaval battle right there.
Yeah.
You know what Markinson did for the first 17 of his 26 years in the Corps? Counterintelligence. Markinson's gone. There is no Markinson.
Damn.
We did nothing wrong, sir. We did our job, and if that has consequences, then I'll accept them. But I won't say that I'm guilty, sir.
Exactly.
Good on you.
If a court decides that what we did was wrong, then I'll accept whatever punishment they give. I believe I did my job, and I will not dishonor myself, my unit, or the Corps so I can go home in 6 months, sir.
This guy's good too.
Harold, I did everything I could. You're going to Leavenworth for the better part of your life, and you know what? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you do.
What happened to saluting an officer when he leaves the room?
Oh.
Jeez.
I mean, he knows Danny doesn't care about code.
Yeah.
You know nothing about the law. You're an ambulance chaser with a rank. You're nothing. Live with that.
Shots fired, G.I.J.
Wow. Doesn't look like you wanted the truth there, Danny.
It does look like you could handle it.
The accused are charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and conduct unbecoming a United States Marine.
Does defense wish to enter a plea?
Yeah.
Inspiration.
He said, yeah, not yes, sir.
They're not guilty.
There it is.
My man.
Why does a lieutenant junior grade with 9 months' experience and a track record for plea bargaining get assigned a murder case?
So he could roll over.
Yeah.
Would it be so that it never sees the inside of a courtroom?
Exactly.
No wonder they chose me.
Joe, before you come over tonight, pick up a carton of legal pads, half a dozen boxes, of red pens, half a dozen boxes.
Oh, he is focused. Let's do this.
Were you able to speak to your friend at the NIS?
She said if Markinson doesn't want to be found, we're not gonna find him. She said I could be Markinson and you wouldn't know it.
Are you?
Are you Markinson?
You can see how there's a play, but this feels very cinematic.
Yeah.
A lot of times movies that are based on plays feel like a play, but this feels like a film.
Now, Lieutenant Kaffee is going to astonish you with stories of rituals and dazzle you with official-sounding terms like code red. He might even try to cut into a few officers for you.
Oh, my God. He's doing the Eminem 8 Mile thing. I do have a dumb friend named Cheddarbuck.
Just own it all. Own every weak point.
When Dawson and Downey went into Santiago's room that night, it wasn't because of vengeance or hatred. It's because it was what they were ordered to do.
Exactly.
But if you're a Marine and you're given an order, you follow it or you pack your bags. Harold Dawson and Loudon Downey are sitting before you today because they did their job.
Nice. Nicely done.
A member of Private Santiago's unit had illegally fired his weapon over the fence line. The shift reported only one sentry returned his weapon to the switch with a round of ammunition missing. Lance Corporal Harold Dawson.
This guy's believably boring.
Yep. Expert witness.
Corporal Carl Edward Hammaker, Marine Barracks, Rifle Security Company, Windward, 2nd Platoon, Bravo.
Is that Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Lieutenant Kendrick held on the afternoon of September 6th with the members of the 2nd Platoon.
Yes, sir.
It is. Show me the money!
Did Lieutenant Kendrick leave a standing order at that meeting?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
Sir, he said Santiago wasn't to be touched.
Yeah, murmuring. Murmur.
It's not good for the case.
Were you in Dawson and Downey's barracks room 5 minutes after this meeting?
No, sir.
Thanks. I have no more questions.
Just a slim narrative he's making. Yes. Make a clear cut.
These are the facts.
The defense is willing to concede that all 22 witnesses will testify substantially as Corporal Hammaker did if the government is willing to concede that none of them were in Dawson and Downey's room at 1620 on September 6th.
Yeah, cut through the fat.
Fair trade. Yeah.
Cut through the fat.
If the muscles and other cells of the body burn sugar instead of oxygen, lactic acid is produced. That lactic acid is what caused Santiago's lungs to bleed.
Gross.
Did Willie Santiago die of poisoning?
Absolutely. Dozens of toxins which are virtually undetectable. The nature of the acidosis is the compelling factor in this issue.
Best in trial.
Is it possible for a person to have an affliction, some sort of condition, which might also speed up the process of acidosis?
It's possible.
What might some of those conditions be?
Stress.
Coronary disorder or cerebral disorder, the process would be more rapid.
Is it possible to have a serious coronary condition where the initial warning signals were so mild as to escape a physician during a routine medical exam?
Ooh, nicely done.
There would still be symptoms, though. There are hundreds of...
Chest pains?
Yes.
Shortness of breath?
Yes.
Fatigue?
Passing out all the time.
Yes.
Would you read your handwritten remarks at the bottom of the page, please, sir?
Initial testing, negative. Patient complains of chest pains, shortness of breath, and fatigue. Restricted from running distances over 5 miles for 1 week.
Murmur.
Isn't it possible that Santiago had a serious coronary condition and not some mysterious poison that caused the accelerated chemical reaction?
No.
Why?
Private Santiago was given a clean bill of health.
Because Lord knows if you put a man with a serious coronary condition on duty with a clean bill of health and that man died from a heart-related incident, you'd have a lot to answer for, wouldn't you?
Ooh.
Boy.
Your Honor, we renew our objection to Commander Stone's testimony and ask that it be stricken from the record.
The objection's overruled, counsel.
Move to reconsider.
The witness is an expert, and the court will hear his opinion.
The witness doesn't make mistakes.
Monday the 19th, at which time the defense will call its first witness.
I strenuously object. Objection overruled. No. No, I strenuously object.
Why do you hate them so much?
They tortured and tormented a weaker kid. They didn't like him, so they killed him. And why? Because he couldn't run very fast.
Everybody, take the night off. Go see your wife, see your daughter, Joe. Go do whatever it is you do when you're not.
That's a great time.
Why do you like them so much?
Because they stand on a wall. And they say nothing's gonna hurt you tonight. Not on my watch.
Smart that this is so rooted in not just what are the facts, but what is the belief.
Yeah. And how can you spin the perspective?
Juries are swayed by emotion more than anything else.
I was wondering how you'd feel about my taking you to dinner tonight.
Are you asking me out on a date?
No, I wasn't.
I've been asked out on dates before, and that's what it sounded like.
Do you like seafood? I know a good seafood place. I think you're an exceptional lawyer. I watch the court members. They respond to you. I see you convincing them, and I think Dawson and Downey are going to end up owing their lives to you.
And I'm going to end up spending mine with you.
I think you should prepare yourself for the fact that we're going to lose.
Whoa.
I mean, let's pretend for a minute that it would actually matter to this court that the guys were given an order. I can't prove it ever happened. And we'll put on a show, but at the end of the day, all we have is a testimony of two people accused of murder.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where we'll find the truth.
It's going to be the Achilles
I want the
heel.
truth.
When the time is right, when we are ready.
Have you ever received a code red?
Yes, sir. We were doing 7-man assault drills, and my weapon slipped.
This guy from ER.
There you go.
Was Private Santiago ever late for platoon meetings?
Yes, sir.
Was his barracks ever in disorder?
Yes, sir.
You got a code red because your palms were sweaty. Why didn't Santiago, this burden to his unit, ever get one?
Exactly, yeah.
Dawson wouldn't allow it, sir. The guys talked tough about Santiago, but they wouldn't go near him.
Jeffrey, did you ever want to give Santiago a code red?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you?
Because Dawson would kick my butt, sir.
I hold here the Marine Outline for Recruit Training. Are you familiar with this book?
Yes, sir.
Would you turn to the chapter that deals with code reds, please? Just flip to the page in the book that discusses code reds.
They're not in there.
Well, you see, sir, code red is a term that we use.
Is there no book, no manual or pamphlet, no set of orders or regulations that lets me know that as a Marine, one of my duties is to perform code red?
You know the answer.
Yeah. No, sir. No book, sir.
I love how he's answering so sincerely. No.
That's not how things work.
Would you turn to the page in this book that says where the mess hall is, please?
Well, Lieutenant Kaffee, that's not in the book, sir.
That's so good.
How did you know where the mess hall was if it's not in this book?
Well, I guess I just followed the crowd at chow time, sir.
Good answer.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, he's a little impressed.
Yeah.
He's like, that was good. That was well played.
I'm going to use that later.
That was well played.
I want to slam dunk this guy.
1900.
Every time he's out in the courtroom, he's like, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're at the courtroom. I'm going to destroy this case. I'm gonna win.
Lawyer my friggin' ass off.
Let that be a movie moment where they're like, what the shit?
Oh, is it, what's his name? Yeah!
Oh, jeez.
I know everything.
Was it a code red?
Yes.
Did Kendrick give the order?
Yes. He was never going to be transferred off that base.
We're going to McDonald's.
I need some food that's not Cocoa Puffs.
You got the transfer order. It's got your signature.
Yeah, I know. I signed him the morning you arrived in Cuba, 5 days after Santiago died. I don't want a deal. And I don't want immunity.
I want McDonald's.
Jessup said that 6 the next morning was the first flight Santiago could have left on. Markinson says there was a plane that left 7 hours earlier. You just concentrate on Downey. I'm going to talk to Ross and tell him where we are.
Is that guy going to die? I don't want him to die.
I feel like he'll be exonerated. I'm going optimistic.
And I want to tell you that I think the whole f***ing bunch of you are certifiably insane. This code of honor of yours makes me want to beat the shit out of something.
I'm your friend, and I'm telling you, I don't think your clients belong in jail, but I don't get to make that decision.
Wow.
Now, I want you to acknowledge that the judge advocate has made you aware of the possible consequences involved in accusing a Marine officer of a felony without proper evidence.
I've been so advised.
It's true. We were here to witness that.
You got bullied into that courtroom by the memory of a dead lawyer.
Ouch.
Papa, can you hear me?
Lance Corporal Dawson's ranking after the School of Infantry was perfect. Was Dawson's promotion held up because of this last report?
I'm sure it was.
Could you read it?
You recall an incident involving a PFC Curtis Bell who'd been found stealing liquor from the officers' club? Did you report Private Bell to the proper authorities?
The only proper authorities I am aware of are my commanding officer, Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, and the Lord our God.
I knew that was coming.
Lieutenant, do you know what a code red is?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever ordered a code red?
No, I have not.
Did you order Dawson and 2 other men to make sure that Private Bell received no food except water?
He was given water and vitamin supplements, and I can assure you, at no time was his health in danger.
Sure, it was lovely for Private Bell.
Does it make you sick to eat vitamins with no food?
Wouldn't this form of discipline be considered a code red?
No.
If I called the other 478 Marines at Guantanamo Bay to testify, would they consider it a code red?
Please, the court, the witness.
Lieutenant Kendrick, was Dawson given a rating of below average on this last report because you learned he'd been sneaking food to Private Bell?
Object!
Not so fast. Lieutenant?
I want to hear that one.
Yeah.
He disobeyed an order.
It's because he made a decision about the welfare of a Marine that was in conflict with an order of yours. He was punished. Is that right?
But the code, Marine.
If you had ordered Dawson to give Santiago a code red...
I specifically ordered those men.
Is it reasonable
not
to
touch
think he would have
Santiago.
disobeyed you again?
Lieutenant, don't answer that.
You don't have to, I'm through.
To order Lance Corporal Dawson and Private Downey to give Willie Santiago a code red.
Oh, he's hesitating.
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Oh, damn, he hesitated.
Yeah, he was rattled.
The first flight stateside left Guantanamo Bay at 2300. It arrived at Andrews Air Force Base, Maryland, at a few minutes past 2 in the morning.
What are you telling me? He fixed the logbook?
That's the only conclusion.
You don't still intend to put me on the stand?
Thursday morning, 10 o'clock.
Oh, boy.
This is bad.
We'll put Markinson on the stand and we'll deal with Jessup's refusal to transfer Santiago, and he'll testify to the forged transfer, and that'll be enough. That and Downey's testimony really ought to be enough.
I feel like something's really going to happen to him. I feel like he's not going to make it to the trial.
I was ordered to give him a code red by the platoon commander of Rifle Security Company Windward, Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick.
You're gonna do fine.
You sure?
Do you remember the order of the questions?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And use small words.
Yes.
Because he gets rattled when he doesn't understand something.
Joe.
I'm just saying, go slow.
I'm gonna go slow.
Okay.
Love that. This is just building.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Santiago, I was Williams' executive.
Damn it.
Damn it, he's going to do it, isn't it? I was really worried he'd do this.
I wasn't strong enough to stop it. Always, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Andrew Markinson,
Damn it, man.
Marine Corps.
Why did you go to Private Santiago's room?
A code red was ordered by my platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick.
Your witness.
It's dark and stormy night.
The pickup private got a flat, sir, right at 39. He pulled up and bam, blowout with no spare.
Well, I'm guessing it must be a good hour by foot, am I right?
Pickup and me did it in 45 flat, sir.
Good man.
An order that Lieutenant Kendrick gave you in your barracks room at 1620, am I right?
Yes, sir.
But you just said that you didn't make it back to the Windward Barracks until 1645.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Well, you see, sir, there was a blowout.
Private, did you ever actually hear Lieutenant Kendrick order a code red?
Well, Hal said that...
Private, did you ever...
Oh, no.
Why did you go into Santiago's
The
room?
witness has rights.
The witness has been read his rights, Commander.
The question will be repeated.
Why
Your
did you go
Honor.
into Santiago's room?
Hal?
Did Lance Corporal Dawson tell you?
Oh, he's turning to Hal.
Hal? Private, answer the captain's question.
Woof.
Yes, Captain. I was given an order by my squad leader, Lance Corporal Harold W. Dawson, United States Marine Corps, and I followed it.
Jeez.
Really does look up to him, huh?
Yep. Damn it, guys.
Downey wasn't in his room. That was an important piece of information, don't you think?
Danny, it was a setback. But we fix it and move on to Markinson.
Markinson's dead.
Yeah.
You really gotta hand it to those federal marshals, boy. This guy got into full-dress uniform, stood in the middle of that room, drew a nickel-plated pistol from his holster, fired a bullet into his mouth.
Woof.
Why did you ask Jessup for the transfer order? You could have gotten it by picking up the phone and calling any one of a dozen departments at the Pentagon. You wanted to see Jessup's reaction when you asked for the transfer order.
Exactly.
What possible good could come from putting Jessup on the stand?
He told Kendrick to order the code red.
That's great. Why didn't you say so? And of course, you have proof. Well, for our defendants, it's a lifetime at exotic Fort Leavenworth. It's a court-martial, yes, Johnny, after falsely accusing a highly decorated Marine officer of conspiracy.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Thank you for playing, should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
All is not lost. This is not the dark night of the soul that is required right now.
That's how you know you're almost to the victory.
I'm sorry I lost your set of steak knives.
Woof.
Bitch!
And this, a picture of me in the shower.
Did I ever tell you I wrote a paper about your father in college? One of the best trial lawyers ever. And if I were Dawson and Downey and I had a choice between you or your father to represent me in this case, I'd choose you any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Aww.
You're 10 times the lawyer Mufasa was.
Did you put Jessup on the stand?
Nope. Neither Lionel Kafee nor Sam Weinberg are lead counsel for the defense in the matter of U.S. versus Dawson and Downey.
You are, man.
WWTCD.
Joe, get in the car. Joanne, please get in the car. Look.
So
run, he's gonna
Joanne!
run. Yep.
Joanne!
We got a little jog.
I'm gonna put Jessup on the stand!
Kiss me, you fool.
Hollywood. This movie's so effective at knowing to keep Jack Nicholson as more of a looming presence and build him up. Threat in the shadows.
Yeah, he's always
so powerful. Yeah.
I think he's pissed off that he's got to hide from us. I think he wants to say that he made a command decision and that's the end of it. He eats breakfast 300 yards away from 4,000 Cubans that are trained to kill him.
He's doing a Jack Nicholson impression.
Yep.
I need my bat. I think better with my bat. Where's my bat?
Toss me a ball.
Put it in the closet.
Don't ever put that bat in the closet.
I can understand that. I just have stuff to handle.
What's in that closet? What did you see?
Oh, there's evidence hidden back here.
A magical bat.
Sam, I need you to do something for me.
Blowing this thing wide open.
You feel like he's not going to say it. Don't go for it. You could get in trouble.
You're not suggesting that I back off a material witness.
If you think you can't get him, yeah.
Give him that extra ounce
of stakes.
Yeah. Light that fire.
Oh, man, he's going to risk it all.
Where's Sam?
He's on his way.
He's got some piece of evidence he's coming.
Got to get the truth, even though he can't handle it.
The witness is aware, the court is aware. We thank you for bringing this to our attention. Move on, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Who are those guys?
They're going to blow this thing wide open.
I ordered Markinson to have Santiago transferred off the base immediately. I felt his life might be in danger once word of the letter got out.
Grave danger?
Is there another kind?
Not in Guantanamo.
Santiago's barracks room was sealed off and its contents inventoried. I'm wondering why Santiago wasn't packed. Your Honor, these are the telephone records from Gitmo for September 6th. And these are 14 letters that Santiago wrote in 9 months.
Oh, my goodness.
Upon hearing the news that he was finally getting his transfer, Santiago was so excited that do you know how many people he called? 0. Nobody. He was asleep in his bed at midnight, and according to you, he was getting on a plane in 6 hours. Yet everything he owned was hanging neatly in his closet and folded neatly in his footlocker.
Oh, yes. God, that's a good script.
Pretty smart.
Damn.
Yeah.
You
You packed a bag and made 3 phone calls. Santiago was leaving for the rest of his life, and he hadn't called a soul, and he hadn't packed a thing.
That's good. That's fucking good.
Santiago wasn't going anywhere. Isn't that right, Colonel?
Now, it's my recommendation, sir, that Lieutenant Kaffee be reprimanded for his conduct and the witness be excused with the court's deepest...
I know the judge looks like he's,
Overruled.
Your Honor.
Your objection is noted.
I'm going to keep an eye on this.
I want the truth, Colonel.
This court wants the truth.
Maybe he was an early riser and liked to pack in the morning. These 2 Marines are on trial for their lives. Please tell me that their lawyer hasn't pinned their hopes to a phone bill.
Jesus.
Thanks, Danny. I love Washington.
Excuse me. I didn't dismiss you. I'm not through with my examination. Sit down.
Whoa. Oh, he's made a choice.
I'd appreciate if he would dress me as Colonel or Sir. I believe I've earned it.
He did that intentionally.
That's when I developed my drinking problem.
The witness will address this court as Judge or Your Honor. I'm quite certain I've earned it.
Oh, shit. He's losing respect. Yeah. Stripping him down.
You don't own this
Strip
room.
his pride down.
This isn't your office.
Your Honor, these are the Tower Chief's logs for both Guantanamo Bay and Andrews Air Force Base.
I don't understand. You're admitting evidence of a flight that never existed.
Well, we believe it did, sir.
Where's the mistake?
They were working the ground crew at Andrews at 2 a.m. on the 7th.
Oh, shit.
Colonel, a moment ago...
Check the tower logs, for Christ's sake.
Well, we'll get to the airmen in just a minute, sir.
You know it's just getting to him.
And Lieutenant Kendrick was clear on what you wanted?
Crystal.
Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick left your office and said, the old man is wrong?
No.
Never.
We follow orders or people die. It's that simple. Are we clear?
We follow orders and people die.
Are we clear?
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yes.
If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why would Santiago be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is there any other...
Yes, yes. Your own words.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why did he have to be transferred? Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
Object! And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose! Your Honor, you had Marcus inside a phony transfer. Your Honor, you doctored the law.
Oh, shit.
Did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question.
Oh, God.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
It's coming.
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives.
Oh, shit.
I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
Yes. God damn.
Right. Yeah, they were like, oh, shit, he said it. Yeah.
I think we would get here.
I suggest the members be dismissed so that we can move to an immediate Article 39A session. The witness has rights.
Captain Ross.
Give him a second to process
Jack?
his imploding case.
Called him Jack, his friend. Damn. That was a great scene.
That was a tremendous.
True climax.
MPs, guard the colonel. Yes, sir.
Whoa.
You're getting arrested, man.
I'm being charged with a crime.
A trial by court-martial.
Is that what this is?
Or administrative.
I'm being charged with a crime?
Oh, God.
This is...
expense.
I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head and piss in your dead skull! You...
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
You put people's lives in danger.
You got a man killed.
Sweet dreams, son.
Don't call me son. I'm a lawyer and an officer in the United States Navy.
I am the son of a very...
And you're under arrest, you son of a bitch. The witness is excused.
You got a man killed. You got one of your own killed.
Need a minute to slow my heart down.
It's crazy how, like, that one scene does live up to, like, You're like, no wonder that's a quote.
Yeah, it's like such a crescendo.
I was like, what comes after this quote?
Powerhouse acting.
I don't know what happens after that.
On the charge of murder, the members find the accused not guilty.
Won. You won.
On the charge of conduct unbecoming a United States Marine, guilty as charged. And you are ordered to be dishonorably discharged from the Marine Corps.
You got punished for the thing, though, that you said you were okay with getting punished for.
Yeah.
And the day you did kill a man.
I mean,
yeah,
following orders is not a good excuse.
Colonel Jessup said he ordered the code red. What did we do wrong?
It's not that simple.
What did we do wrong? We did nothing wrong.
Yeah, we did.
We did it.
We were supposed to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves. We were supposed to fight for Willie.
Oh, poor guys.
Hey, man, we're in charge for murder, though.
You don't need to wear a patch in your arm to have honor.
10 hut! There's an officer on deck.
Oh. The real verdict is respect.
Airman Cecil O'Malley and Anthony Rodriguez, what exactly were these guys going to testify to?
Unless I'm mistaken, they're both going to testify under oath that they had absolutely no recollection of anything.
They just need to just sit in the courtroom. Where's your legacy sequel, Tom?
Yeah, get Jack Nicholson out of retirement for one more. Who did he kill on the inside? Damn. What a film.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Still, that feels timeless.
Truly.
Let's do the math here. 10, 20, 30 years ago. 31.
Okay.
Yeah. 92's came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, 31 years ago.
And that holds up, like, I don't know, just as much as it ever did, especially, you know, being that it surrounds, like, Guantanamo Bay. And
that just makes Tom Cruise's face today that much more impressive. And what he does today that much more, like, holy shit, this is 31 years. This guy's been in this business a long time. No, I thought it was an incredibly compelling story. Like, I love a good courtroom drama, and they made it very, like, character driven and had all the heart and nuance. And yeah, do I think, like, Aaron Sorkin is a little bit more punchy and more fun now. I think his quip energy. There's like a certain Aaron Sorkin energy. You know, like that.
There's a stylization of his dialogue over time that is present here, but is less like in your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this doesn't feel like same thing I would say about Tarantino. Like this doesn't. It feels like a Sorkin script, but nowadays you can like watch something and be like, "Did Aaron Sorkin write this?"
Yeah, totally.
Whereas this feels just like a passion piece that got him off the ground. Because, like I said at the beginning, it's based on a play, and then it got made into a movie. And I think here it was a phenomenal piece of work. The acting all around was amazing, and the only thing I really knew about it was Aaron Sorkin wrote it and stars Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and Jack Nicholson. I wasn't aware of how little Jack Nicholson would be in here, but whenever he's here, he's such an effective presence, and the fact that you kind of keep him in the shadows makes whenever he shows up that much more threatening versus checking in with him a bunch because everyone else is constantly building up the hierarchy, the ranks, It's like it explores this line of when does it become, you know, a code amongst your brotherhood, and when is it just a cult, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And what is, you know, following the reasonable chain of command versus what is something that you know morally you should object to, even though it might lead to, you know, protocol-based repercussions or consequences or something like that. Like it's the examination of, you know, at what point should you not just follow orders, and you see the danger represented nicely between the two defendants, because you have the one that is clearly, I keep mixing their names up, but you have the one that's clearly like much more outwardly intelligent and clearly the one
Dawson?
who's sort of in charge, and then you have the other one who is gonna follow whatever this guy says and trusts him. And so it's like, you've got these two people, on the hook for this, one of whom is just following his buddy who he looks up to, and the other one who thinks he's doing the honorable thing. And it's like it's great because I think the way they lay everything out, they give you just enough to know what the truth is, but also to see just how murky it is from a law standpoint, from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, and they let the audience get involved with the complicated nature of what everything is going on. Like, they let you have the discussion and kind of go, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what's right or wrong. It's not black and white. Like, that's why I think the punishment served at the end is not this romantic Hollywood ending of they get off of it and they just get a second chance at life. Like, they get a punishment, but they also get to clear their name of being murderers. I thought that was really well orchestrated to go down that path, because you even have it amongst the defense team, the defense counsel. They all have, like, you got Demi Moore, who's incredibly empathetic and sensitive to this situation. Then you got Kevin Pollak, who is repulsed by the situation. He believes they deserve to serve time in court, and he finds their actions abhorrent. And you got Tom Cruise, who's the one going through the massive character trajectory arc of someone who's just like, I'm just here to do a job. Let's call it quits. Let's call it a day. It's just another case. And then he's finding himself getting really emotionally entangled over the course of this and finding something to care more about than just himself, just doing a job just to get it over with. I think the way the way they have the discussion around the particular case, like, it's a fascinating subject, because normally we're dealing with, like, a crime was committed.
Yeah.
And it is that. It is life and death. It is a crime was committed. But it's all circling around this thing I've never heard of before. I don't know if it's a real thing. But the code red subject. Yeah. I've never heard. I mean, of course.
It's like a hazing.
Yeah, I've of course seen movies.
Hazing with discipline.
Yeah. But I'm not familiar with that specific terminology. Are you? I'm not.
No, I don't know if that's like a thing they made up here, or if that's based on some real sort of unwritten military code or something like that.
Yeah, and I like how it deals with the subject matter of, is that okay to do? Like, I feel like that's a real thing in some, even if it's not exactly what it's called, Code Red. I feel like there's some truth to that type of discipline.
Yeah, that's sort of like the unit has to discipline each other as a means of pulling closer together and also being independent enough, but also in line with their superiors.
But they even have a gray area with that of how sometimes it's been effective. Like, they had that Noah something, the guy who plays him in ER.
Yeah,
Noah. I don't know his last name.
Yeah,
I think it's Noah. Is his first name?
I can almost see it.
But when he was there, when he was testifying, he was saying, like, no, it helped him become a better soldier, and, like, he's even laughing about it. Like, the way he looks back on that memory of receiving the Code Red punishment, he's smiling about it. He looks back on it fondly, like he grew as a person due to it. But like, everyone else is being, what they're exploring is other people are falling behind and shit, or they're slacking here. This guy who was killed, he wanted to be out. He wanted to be transferred. Like, it's a completely different thing, and that's where the cultish mentality comes in. Of, no, we're just gonna stick it to you.
Yeah, one, it's clearly a matter of he's not just a bit sloppy or disengaged. It's like, this is actually kind of a threat and detriment to his health and well-being. He's been misdiagnosed by the doctor. He's passing out all over the place, and you only get a brief glimpse of him when he's alive, but that one scene in the mess hall, you can just feel how, like, isolated and alone this dude is, when also is simultaneously being forced to harmonize with a bunch of other people who are being, he's being sort of unfairly put into these circumstances where everybody, and then expected to perform alongside everybody else. And so, like, I love the whole just the whole deceit of the debate about them basically saying like, no, we got to keep him here. Like, you know, it's if we transfer him, that's only going to lead it's so despicable, but it becomes like the exact opposite argument to the public versus internally when they're like, yeah, no, we got to, you know, hammer this guy down and, you know, shape him and mold him, and we can't, you know, accept no for an answer basically on that front.
Yeah. And it's fun seeing what Jack Nicholson did with this role of a guy who's just so set in his old school ways and refuses to, even though there's like a law implemented, which I think is smart to put in the movie. Again, I don't know what's actual truth to that is reflective or what's made up here. I
think it would all be based on something.
But I think that's smart because that immediately tells you what they did is illegal.
Yeah.
Like regardless, what they did is illegal. So you're telling the audience it's certainly wrong. So there's no question about it because it is illegal what they're doing.
This is not on the books.
To let it go, yeah. So I think that was very clever. But yeah, I think Jack Nicholson makes for quite a formidable villain. I like Demi Moore's presence here. I think that it was great that they did not actually have her hook up with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Because when they started going on this seafood date, I was like,
here we go. Here's the Hollywood kid.
Yeah.
At the end, they're going to kiss.
Yeah.
This is going to be the start of a beautiful relationship.
I'm really glad it didn't go down that path because that would have, I think, undercut the movie quite a bit. And her character, too.
Yeah.
It would have underserved her character.
The tension is enough to add some character stakes, but yeah, it's not so much that it eclipses the actual point of why we're all here. And yeah, like I like that, you know, even though there are moments where people are being unprofessional or whatever, you know, they're mostly sticking to the case and the proceedings and, you know, unraveling all of that and responding to the emotional ups and downs of the case rather than like interpersonal melodramas and things like that.
Well, I think the arc for the Danny character is well constructed too, because so much of this is about, you know, dealing with your higher ups, mentors, whatever it may be, answering to some type of authority, legacy, yeah. And he is dealing so much with living in his father's shadow and having to make his own identity and his own choices as well. And they don't, I mean, they take moments to like talk about it so it's clear to the audience, but there's not like a horrid amount of scenes that are dedicated to it.
Yeah.
But his personal arc is reflective of the decision making that the people he's defending have had to deal with too.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
So while they're different subjects, you can see how thematically they're similar. So I thought even though it's definitely an archetype of what especially now, I don't know, like preceding this movie, how often that was the case, but after this movie, for sure, seen that kind of archetype a billion times, living in your father's shadow, which is a fine archetype to me because it's like a thing a lot of people deal with. Yeah. And I thought that was a perfect choice, though, for to reflect the whole movie thematically overall.
Oh yeah,
because you know, like within the Marines, any type of military unit, you become family with people. So I'm told by all of them, it is like a family, you know.
And you're in the shadow of your superior officer, who's sort of like, you know, a dad of sorts.
Even with the two who have to defend themselves, that doesn't feel like soldiers. It feels like an older brother taking care of a younger brother who's not as capable. Totally. You know.
Yeah, 100%.
So they kind of strip away a lot of this is like stripping away the actual law and order and the codes.
It's stripping away the pageantry and the protocol and the formality of the situation.
Yeah.
Really just cutting down to the facts and to the morality at play.
Yeah.
You know, and like the inherent risks and negligences that went into this, and just the way that these machinations can, you know, lead to these like really horrible, nasty things that often just slide under the radar. And yeah, it's like it's just one person compared to however many. And like, you know, even Nicholson, you know, being the antagonist, so to speak, or at least, you know, sort of the pinnacle as of this case of, you know, the ill intent. I thought they still managed to draw him in a way where like, yeah, we're not really supposed to like get on board with or agree with him, but I didn't feel the movie too much hating the character on our behalf, if that makes any sense. Like we see him from a limited perspective, But I don't know. I really thought Jack Nicholson inhabited him. Like, he's got all of his jackness. He's got that sort of thing where you're like, oh, yeah, this guy's probably not a savory dude. But at the same time, I could see how he would arise these ranks with respect and get to the position that he is in as hellish of a place as it seems Guantanamo Bay would be.
Well, the movie does a good job, along with his performance, and especially the writing of him, because they always say, like, a good villain doesn't believe he's the villain of the story. He always believes he's right? He believes he's actually the protagonist.
Yeah.
And this guy certainly does. To the point, though, where it's like parts of it are very convincing. And like this movie rides a gray line with a lot of the subject matter, including all the things the characters are dealing with. But especially with Jack Nicholson's character, like, I don't know what it must be like to be like when the way he's talking about like all the general public and all the fanciness that we have to put up here, like you said, pageantries. That's what the world sees, but they don't know. They really don't understand the kind of ugliness that we live in. They'll never be able to comprehend the harshness we deal with and
Every
the fear
day.
that we have to live with. So sometimes we have to make some ugly decisions because that ugly decision is what keeps this country safe. And what keeps it, I'm like, I mean, I cannot fathom how hard the decision making must be and what it must do to kind of make you a little bit colder and a little bit more ruthless, because that ruthlessness is what keeps you alive. So I have no idea. So when you're hearing them, like, I get that point. I get that point.
That's part of what makes that climactic scene so great is like you don't agree with him and you know that his actions directly led to this man's death and that should be, justice should be served there. But at the same time, you're like, no, I get where you're coming from. No, I can't fathom half the shit you're talking about. I wouldn't want to be in your position whatsoever, and I can only assume that there is no good way to go about any of this.
Yeah.
And so, at least, I thought across the board, like the characterizations were very graceful and very well fleshed, and all the actors I thought across the board were well chosen and did a fine job. And like I would be fascinated. I can kind of envision how this might be a play. I can imagine sort of like, okay, maybe you'd have the courthouse set, the office, the little house where they're, breaking down the case, and maybe a couple other sort of, interstitial things. But it does really seem like, this transforms into, a movie. Like I would be fascinated to know what is different, how much of this, is directly transcribed or not. Because again, if you didn't tell me that this was a play, I would have never guessed.
Well, I imagine that's where Rob Reiner's skills really came in handy here.
Sure.
Of being able to go, we need them to travel. We need to see them travel. We need to see them outside. Because most of this movie is in interior locations.
Yeah.
Most of this movie is people just having conversations in interior, and like the last half is mainly the courtroom case. But they got certain moments where like they're traveling to a base, they're in a car, and so they had little things like that. But even on the interior scenes, they never felt like they were just a play.
No,
and that's my problem with most play adaptations. Is I'm like, I might as well just watch the play.
Well, and
except now I'm watching famous people.
Yes, totally. I'm watching Hollywood actors instead of Broadway actors.
Yeah,
I thought the way that they also, I think it's especially, of a movie, the way that they show you the facts of the case, and they show you just enough. It's like they show the two guys breaking in on Santiago in the beginning, and just, the beginning of that situation, and then we cut to the aftermath of that situation. We see a couple of, like, perspectives on Santiago that you could get from just other, soldiers' accounts, and then you're in the room when, the order comes down from Jack Nicholson, and it's like enough for us to know the truth, but it's also enough to accentuate the idea that, like, well, if this one guy is obviously Kiefer Sutherland's not going to cave to this line of questioning, and T.J. Nelson has removed himself, like, you can see. It's like they don't show you the whole thing, but they give you just enough of the facts and just enough of the, fly on the wall perspectives to be like, I know the truth, and I also know how this does look as bleak and dire and impossible as they say, because it does just ride on one guy verifying this account.
Yeah. I thought it was great too that they left. They don't actually confirm that he gave the code red order. Like,
yeah,
but you don't have anyone. They cast doubts on the Markowitz, the guy who ended up unaliving himself.
Yeah.
They cast doubts about his, even though you're like, no, he's definitely telling the truth. But the fact that you you just don't even give us a scene where the way how they gave us the scene of when he is talking with Kiefer Sutherland and stuff about what to do with Santiago. I love that they waited for that they waited for the finale for him to finally affirm it.
Yeah, it's like you get the initial deceit of him being like, no, I'll transfer this guy. We're going to say we're going to transfer the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, not getting the actual account of whether he gave the order.
Yeah.
You know?
And I really do, like, I thought I might find it distracting to see Tom Cruise.
No.
And I was like, no, he's great in this. He's so believable.
Yeah.
And I've transported to Tom Cruise of this time. Because he's been a great actor for a very long time, and I think now more than ever you feel like you're just watching Tom Cruise. But because he kind of does play like a certain type all the time. And maybe this was like the type he played back then.
This
of like
does...
a young hotshot who has to, rise and be
a little
respectful.
loose, but
Yeah.
he's really good at what he does when you get him invested.
Because he did that, like The Color of Money, Top Gun, this. I'm like, well, looking back at his younger, like this was the kind of roles I guess he would do. But this is, even more than Color of Money, which had a lot of physical aspects to it with him playing pool. You look at Top Gun, obviously the plane flight sequences, the aerial sequences there. Here, it is just acting. That's all he's doing. It is pure acting right here. And he's acting his ass off in a way that is a very human performance. Yeah. A lot of charm. Yeah, he's got his big moments, but a lot of it is just like a guy. He's just a natural guy.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting for a long time for Tom Cruise to kind of just go back to just doing,
just
performing. Will the public want that? Maybe not. Like we expect him in these like huge summer movies, and it's what saved his career after tainting his personal after tainting his personal image, where he was putting his love life and religious life on full display.
Blast. Yeah.
And then people are still always trying to expose him for that, and he's managed to like make everyone shut up about it because he keeps like trying to kill himself on screen.
Keeps trying. Do you love me now? Can you forget about my problematic aspects now?
And I love the movies he does, and I love the Tom Cruise we have today. But I've never forgotten, like, he's an amazing actor though, and a lot of that is overshadowed by the crazy stunts he pulls off and now.
Yeah.
And this is just a reminder, such a testament to, he's a phenomenal actor.
Like Coy said, the action Daniel Day-Lewis and the drama Jackie Chan is Tom Cruise. But wouldn't Daniel Day-Lewis just be the drama Daniel Day-Lewis, and Jackie Chan would just be the action Jackie Chan?
I don't know. I think it's a really overstated line.
I think he flipped it.
It's very overstated.
Sure, but this was
Tom Cruise doesn't become these people. Right?
No. The people become Tom Cruise.
He's a very emotional. He's
committed.
He's committed, but he
degree.
doesn't stay in character in between takes. Like I think he does a full back. I know his acting method is he does a full backstory. He loves to know the entire character's history. Like, he really does love to know the whole lineage of how this character came to be, so he knows his character's thinking and feeling in this very moment. So I do believe that. But but he knows how to like turn it off when it's not. Yeah, the camera's not when it's not his take.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy who especially as a producer and stuff needs to keep the set as pleasant as possible, so he can't afford to be the character off screen that heavily.
But I feel like now there's a certain type of, and that was kind of what was fun about him in Top Gun Maverick was.
It was a little bit bringing it back to the performer.
And that he's like, he's kind of just he's a guy. He's just a guy. He's not like action leading hero. Even though he has those scenes, he feels like a relatable guy.
A really skilled guy. In a tangible position. And I think here it's really fun. It's a fun time capsule to watch because it is, you kind of witness the lightning in a bottle of Tom Cruise because it has that duality to his performance where on the one hand you're like, this is like a textbook what people think of when they think of a Tom Cruise performance. He's got the smile, he's got the the sort of messy but suave attitude. He's in a position of power. Obviously he's a lawyer for the armed forces, but at the same time it also just feels like that was right for the character, and that's Danny.
Well, he's a character. You're really rooting for him to win. You're rooting for him to win. Like when he has that moment, when he has to choose. Like I thought they set the stage just nicely for it wasn't just like Demi Moore just showed up to introduce stakes. Like they were setting that up.
Yeah.
throughout the film. Like you press a certain high official too hard, then you're gonna get like disbarred.
Yeah.
You know, and that moment where he had to choose, you're like, oh, fucking choose. Yeah, make the choice we want you to make. Like you really root for him in this movie. And it's been a while since I've really rooted for him that didn't involve like, save the day. and
a scenario in which I think when it becomes, the bigger the stakes become, I think the more of a foregone conclusion it is that he's going to prevail. Whereas something like this feels so high stakes, but if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, it could go either way. I mean, obviously when he gets the, ultimate climax out of Jack Nicholson, you know where it's going to go. But for so much of it, like it's a testament to the writing of the character, the performance by Tom Cruise, and the whole array of circumstances. Like you really do sort of sweat, and you're like, we need all of the prowess of Tom Cruise to maybe have a hope of scraping this by, and that feels real rather than just like, it's exciting and it's death-defying, so there's that element. And it's possible, but he's going to be fine. Whereas here it's like, I don't know. Like this is, it's a different playing field. It's a little more grounded. It's still like it's still like thrilling. Like I do appreciate a movie like this because like I think a lot of legal dramas are quite engrossing and enjoyable in many ways, but they're not always as like, something about this still feels action-packed almost, even though you're not watching like an action movie.
That's the Sorkin writing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows how to do that.
Yeah.
He knows how to keep things. He loves energy. He loves fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves heart. He loves having humor. Like I love Aaron Sorkin's writing. I really love his writing.
Well, and going back to that thing you said earlier, like being that this is, an earlier part in his career, it still had so much humor while also having that heft and that researched, literary quality to it. And, this was it's a heavy movie, heavy circumstance, but it was a lot more like enjoyable. There was a lot more,
I thought we were walking into that too.
Yeah.
I thought we were walking into like a heavy drama.
Yeah, and it's like it's not funny, but it's like it's funny the way like life is funny. It's there's charm in life, and in the between moments, between big intense testimony or whatever, there are gonna be some lighter moments. And it felt very natural, and it also happens to play on Tom Cruise's again natural sort of charismatic charm.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's good with dialogue.
He's great with dialogue.
He's good with dialogue. Like let him act.
Yeah.
I just want him to act again.
He's good at committing and being sincere. And again, like he's just got it. He just has that movie star thing.
I hope when he realizes, like, I am a senior citizen.
I am 80 now.
I should probably dial back some of the stuff I'm doing. I hope when he does get to that point, he just continues to go back to, I'm acting again.
Every 3 years. Just put it in Tom
I'm making
Cruise's...
it sound like I don't love what he does now, because I am in love with what he does now. It's just, I'm talking even just go back to like Collateral,
Yeah.
Like just that's not that far along. Like even Collateral, while there was action in there, like that's a performance.
Yeah, something that's a little more grounded, that rests more heavily on the performance than on the physical and the set pieces.
Yeah.
Something that really calls upon him to act. And also, hopefully, I mean, not to dog any big action movie, but I think, the smaller you scale it, potentially the more interesting the character work may become, and the circumstances, if they are more tangible, might be a little bit more vital. And Tom Cruise, I think that's part of it, is we're used to him now as this god, as this guy who is willing to risk life and limb for cinema. And I want a little bit more Tom Cruise, just the man again, because this is like a great reminder of how wonderful that can also be. And I know he's an older guy now, but he's still got all of the assets that he's showcased in this movie.
The performances of what he does now are very much reflective of, like, I've been obsessed with Tom Cruise's like life and career for a very long time. Sure. And I think the performances of what he does now is very reflective of who he is as a person in real life, because he does have this like insane, hyper-focused, vigilant, loves to learn type of mentality. Like there was, if you watch, there's one interview on like Corden where he was rattling off the amount of like licenses that he has for the many things from, you know, a helicopter, plane,
license, boat
bike,
license.
a real estate license. Like he's got a gazillion, and he's serious about that. Like he's got all these things he loves to learn. And as
he's a lawyer.
Whereas a lot of
he passed the bar.
Whereas a lot of celebrities whereas a lot of celebrities, as they get more successful and famous, they kind of like to keep relaxing, find ways to like calm down and relax a little bit more and have fun, gain some weight, whatever.
Yeah.
He's used those opportunities to become smarter, more educated, more of this like machine. And even when he's on set, he would love to like learn what the crew was doing and stuff, and inquire and really absorb. And that's the best way to probably describe him, is he is like a sponge. And so what he does now is this, accumulation of all the things he's learned over the year. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, and he puts it on the big screen. Like he learns these things and he puts it on the big screen. And that's what I love about what he is now, because you are watching Tom Cruise.
You're
like,
watching
more
this
than
guy's
ever.
diary of all the
you are.
things that he's learning.
You
but
are.
it's also got a narrative put on top of it.
Yeah, he loves to learn about all these things, and so I love what he is now, because you do see that it's like this is the most Tom Cruise you're getting, other than like you're not listening to Scientology stuff spewed at you, but this is the most Tom Cruise you're getting.
It feels like he never lost that hunger. Like, as a
he just
younger
gets
actor.
hungrier.
Yeah, it's like as a younger actor, you got to acquire more skills and take risks and try things, and then you reach that point where you're like fully arrived and people just offer you whatever. And I feel like that can, like you said, be kind of an excuse to maybe, ease off the gas with that. But I feel like, Tom Cruise just like has always had that.
Yeah, he's an extremist.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, I learned this thing. Now I got to go learn some more things.
Yeah,
He
is a really, whatever beliefs he might have that you might disagree with, at the end of the day, they work. It seems to work, and no wonder they want him to be the poster boy for that religion.
Yep.
Because look what he is.
Look what he has defied.
And he constantly gives all his praise and thanks to, like, I am this way because of this. And I feel like this. So it's like, can he do something like this again? That's the question, though. Is he even interested in something like this again?
That's the that's the big question to me. And right now, it doesn't feel like it's so much. But what is? Right now it's Mission Impossible, which he's going to do until he's 80.
Well, everything he does, he puts his finger on, turns into Mission Impossible.
Now it does.
Like,
so
Night and Day was Mission Impossible. Fucking The Mummy was Mission Impossible. Everything's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Even we were all, Top Gun Maverick is its own thing, but a lot of the leeway to being able to make the movie that they made was because of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, and it also at least carries that aspect of he's going to do some crazy shit again on screen. He's going to risk his life for us. Yeah, it's more of a risk, I would imagine now, because, doing a Mission Impossible wherever he happens to be doing it, in franchise or out, seems to be like the safest Tom Cruise like, part of me does wonder if it's maybe a little restricting being in that position where Mission Impossible works, but what else do we know right now that like just works for Tom Cruise? And that's like a scary thing, but like I would love to see a swing at like something more dramatic or comedic or something, just a little bit more
comedy
grounded
too.
after so long.
I've saying it forever. He is such an underrated comedic actor.
He's pushing for Tropic Thunder 2 or whatever.
He's a
come back for that.
Highly underrated. Even here, you see this comedy chops.
100%.
He's got great time. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's really funny, and he doesn't get a chance to. The Mission Impossible kind of shows it now. But, Top Gun Maverick kind of shows it. But he's an underrated comedic.
Begrudging in a Mission Impossible. It's like after 7 odd movies, he can be fun sometimes.
Yeah, I really. It is. This is looking like a time capsule of the kind of performances he used to do.
Yeah,
and I feel like the Jerry Maguire time is when he started morphing into. I'm the guy who just smiles at everything. Yeah,
sure.
It's like he would go from like. Really charming to super intense. Like those, it was like this big obvious paradigm of performances of like Jerry Maguire shows it, War of the Worlds shows it.
Sure.
Where it's like I'm super charming and smiling to I'm super intense.
Yeah. Whereas this, I guess that's the nuance. Yeah, is this seems to ride a gradual line that is very much just sort of on the back of the developments of the plot.
This is very natural.
Yeah, 100%.
This is like he's just a guy, and I don't know if he is. I don't even know if he can do that now.
It's such a fine line.
He's not that in real life.
It's such a fine
real life,
line.
he's not that guy.
Because I feel like nowadays he has everything that's on display in this movie. But yeah, like the natural levels, I would be curious to see. Like,
As I feel like probably at this time he was more like this kind of guy, and then who's like,
because it's such a fine line to me. Because this is like it's a very Tom Cruise performance, but this is clearly not at the point where it is just like, oh, Tom Cruise is doing the Tom Cruise thing, even though all the things are present. So I feel like it could happen.
Even Jack Reacher was Mission Impossible.
It was.
Everything turns into Mission Impossible.
And it is like super intense, or like the occasional levity, and there's pretty hard lines between those things.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see it. I would love to see a movie where Tom Cruise has to go back and be like, how do I just be natural again?
How am I just a guy?
How do I just naturally respond to the situation at hand, and there's no sort of global threat involved?
It's just in real
You
life.
have to run a movie that doesn't make an opportunity for him to have to run.
Yeah,
I think is part of the key, because this didn't really give him an opportunity much at all to like do that much that's physical.
I just want to say too, I love him in Jerry Maguire and War of the Worlds. Actually, I think he's great in both those movies.
I've seen War of the Worlds.
You haven't seen Jerry Maguire?
No one has shown me the money.
Wow, you haven't seen Jerry Maguire?
No, it hit me when we
not
were
on your
watching.
list.
I know, because it hit me during this when you said "show me the money" at one point when you were getting Junior showed up.
You said you had me at hello.
I know, because it's a Tom Cruise related quote.
Yeah.
That's another. It's like you can't handle the truth. It's just one of those like things that has been, grafted into my subconscious without the full context.
Yeah, I love that movie,
dude.
Alrighty, well, I knew this would turn into a Tom Cruise discussion. 10 minutes in, I was like, "This is gonna be good." I know.
We should discuss Kevin Pollak now.
I know when we get to the review, we're gonna be talking a lot about like what happened to this guy.
Yeah. How far we've come.
Because it's a fascinating tale of what he is now.
Tale of Tom. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, what do you think about A Few Good Men? Leave your thoughts down below. What are your nitpicks? Do you wish Tom Cruise would kind of go back to doing roles like this? Leave your thoughts down below.
Being a thespian.
What time is it for us? It is late, but hey, not late enough to do a Patron. Tyler Haig. If I ever needed to go to court and I wanted someone to defend me, it would be you. I would love for Tyler Haig to defend me because, you see, a big part of having a lawyer is more than just facts and the evidence, the information. No, you got to buy into the defense attorney. You got to buy into their personality. And you are just so warm and friendly and sincere and just so relaxed. I feel like they would even let you do it via Zoom.
Oh, a jury will agree with anything you say.
I think no matter what, they'd be like, he's got to be telling the truth. Listen to this guy. Look how sweet he is. He's such a sweetheart.
This guy wouldn't represent someone who's guilty.
No, that's not the Tyler Haig way. Everyone would want to just hang out with you. They wouldn't even care to hear about the defense. The jury would stop you and like, look, we believe you. He's innocent.
The case is thrown out.
Tell us about you, Tyler. You want to go grab some breakfast? That's what would happen.
Yeah, let's play some games.
Tyler, thank you so much for defending us at every turn. And I can't wait for you to represent me in my murder/thief trial.
Yeah. Murder/thief suspect Greg Alva with the best defense attorney in the damn country, Tyler Haig.
Thank you, buddy.
Get him off.